You're watching DX Recaps, the place where we break down movies fast, clear, and spoiler-packed. Whether you missed it, forgot it, or just want a quick refresh, we've got you covered. Let's get into the story. In the year 2043, the United States faces a devastating crisis when children and teenagers begin to die from a mysterious and deadly disease that only affects the young. This illness spreads rapidly across the nation, wiping out 98% of the youth population. Only 2% of the children survive, but the ones who do are no longer normal. The disease triggers strange and powerful abilities within them, making them both extraordinary and dangerous. The government orders all parents to surrender their surviving children to special rehabilitation camps for treatment and research. President Gray announces publicly that his own son, Clancy, has survived the disease and is being treated at one of these camps, reassuring the public that everything is under control. Inside the camps, scientists classify the surviving children into 5 colors based on their powers. Green represents those with heightened intelligence. Blue are telekinetic, capable of moving objects with their minds. Gold children can control electricity. These first 3 groups are considered relatively safe and are kept alive for study. But the remaining 2 categories are labeled dangerous. Red, for those who can control fire, and orange, for those who can manipulate minds. The government orders all reds and oranges to be executed immediately upon discovery. The story focuses on a young girl named Ruby, who celebrates her birthday with her worried parents. With most children dead, her survival is already suspicious. That night, Ruby goes to comfort her mother but accidentally triggers a strange vision when she touches her. The next morning, her mother no longer recognizes her and, terrified, calls the authorities. Ruby is taken away to a government camp along with other surviving children. At the camp, doctors examine each child to determine their classification. Ruby is identified as orange, one of the most dangerous types. A doctor prepares to inject her with a lethal dose. But Ruby instinctively uses her powers to control his mind and convinces him that she's actually green. Her deception works, and she's allowed to live among the greens. 6 years pass. Ruby has learned to hide her true nature, pretending to be an ordinary green. One day, a camp officer scolds her for making mistakes and suspects something is off about her. When a friend defends Ruby, the officer punishes the friend harshly, a reminder of the brutal conditions these children live under. The camp regularly conducts frequency tests, using sound waves that only the children can hear. During one test, Ruby collapses and is sent to Dr. Kate for examination. Kate secretly discovers Ruby's true identity as an orange and warns her through a written note that she will be executed soon. Kate tells Ruby to meet her in the boiler room to escape. When the alarm sounds, Ruby flees to the boiler room, where Dr. Kate helps her escape using her car. At a checkpoint, Ruby is almost caught, but she uses her mind control ability to convince an officer to let them go. For the first time in 6 years, Ruby is free. Kate gives Ruby a panic button, a tracker that will summon help if she's ever in danger, and explains that she works for the Children's League, an underground group that rescues gifted children from the camps and fights against the government. Kate plans to hand Ruby over to her partner, Rob, who will continue her rescue. But when Ruby accidentally touches Rob's hand, she sees visions of him harming children. Realizing they can't be trusted, she runs away. While hiding, Ruby encounters a young mute girl named Zoo, who wears gloves to control her electrical powers. Zoo travels with 2 others, Liam, a telekinetic blue, and Charles, a highly intelligent green. The group decides to take Ruby with them, helping her evade Kate and the League. Soon, they are pursued by Lady Jane, a ruthless bounty hunter who captures superpowered children for profit. Liam uses his telekinesis to block their path by cracking roads, scattering debris, and toppling trees, allowing the group to escape. As they journey together, Ruby grows closer to them but hides her true power, claiming to be a green. Liam explains that they are searching for a safe haven rumored to be led by someone called the Slip Kid, an orange who can control minds like Ruby. He also reveals that he once worked for the Children's League, where children were trained to fight the government. Disgusted by their militarized methods, Liam left the organization. That night, the group takes shelter at an inn. Ruby reflects on her painful past, how she accidentally erased her parents' memories of her when she was younger, causing them to forget she ever existed. Later, when Ruby accidentally touches Z's hand, she experiences one of Z's memories. A flashback to a government camp where Zoo and many other children rebelled and escaped, led by none other than Liam. Because of the trauma she suffered during her time in the camp, Zoo has become mute. The next morning, Ruby, Zoo, Liam, and Charles stop at an abandoned mall to gather supplies. For a brief moment, they get to enjoy themselves, laughing, exploring, and pretending to live normal childhoods they never had. But their peace doesn't last long. Suddenly, an invisible force lifts their bodies into the air. They're being attacked by another group of children with telekinetic powers. Thinking fast, Zoo uses her electricity powers to release them, shocking the attackers and forcing them to stop. Once tensions settle, the group realizes their attackers are not enemies but other surviving children, also gifted with powers. That night, they sit together and talk about the rumored children's safe haven in East River, a mysterious place where kids like them can live freely. However, the newcomers refuse to share its exact location, claiming it's a secret. Determined to find the truth, Ruby secretly uses her mind control ability to pull a clue from one of their thoughts, the letters EDO. Later, Charles, the genius of the group, spends hours trying to figure out what those letters mean but finds nothing. After talking with Ruby, who mentions her father used to be a cop, Charles realizes EDO could represent a radio frequency. Using that theory, he converts the letters into numbers, 540, and tunes their radio to that frequency. To their amazement, a message comes through, revealing the safe haven's location, Lake Prince, Virginia. The next day, while driving there, the group is ambushed by the ruthless bounty hunter Lady Jane. She uses a powerful sonic rifle that incapacitates the kids with painful sound waves. But Ruby fights back, using her powers to seize control of Lady Jane's mind and force her into submission. The group is horrified to learn the truth. Ruby isn't a harmless green, as she claimed, but an orange, one of the most dangerous types. Ruby admits she lied, ashamed of her powers and the fear they bring. Later, Ruby opens up to Liam about her past, how she accidentally erased her parents' memories of her, how she's been running ever since. Their emotional talk brings them closer, and a bond begins to form between them. Eventually, the group reaches Lake Prince, where they're greeted by dozens of other gifted children. For the first time in years, they're surrounded by kids like themselves, laughing, smiling, free. They finally meet the leader of this hidden refuge, known as the Slip Kid. To their shock, the Slip Kid is none other than Clancy Gray, the president's son, and an orange just like Ruby. That night, the children celebrate their freedom. Music fills the air, and Ruby dances with Liam under the stars. The next morning, Ruby is assigned to assist Clancy. He tells her that he was one of the first survivors of the deadly disease, used by the government as a test subject in a failed experiment to create a cure. His father, President Gray, lied to the world, claiming Clancy had been healed. Betrayed, Clancy escaped and founded this sanctuary to protect children like him. Clancy begins training Ruby to control her powers, teaching her how to manipulate minds without physical touch. Ruby quickly masters the skill, and in return, she teaches him how to erase memories. But during one of their lessons, Clancy takes control of her mind and tries to force a kiss on her. Ruby snaps out of it, horrified, and runs away in disgust. Realizing Clancy's true nature, Ruby warns her friends, and they decide to leave the camp. But before they can escape, soldiers from the government ambush them. Liam tries to fight back using his telekinesis, but suddenly collapses. Clancy has used his powers to knock him out. It's revealed that Clancy has betrayed them all. He's been secretly communicating with the camp's captain, leading the military straight to the children. Clancy has been manipulating his father and using his powers to control the government. His real plan is to build an army of superpowered children loyal to him, ensuring that no one can ever control or hurt him again. Ruby fights back fiercely. She uses her mind control to force the camp captain to commit suicide, while Zoo uses her electricity powers to create chaos and cover their escape. Helicopters swarm overhead as the military arrives, bringing with them weaponized red children who can control fire. The Reds set the camp ablaze, and a massive battle erupts. Liam and the others fight desperately, but Clancy enters the battlefield and takes control of everyone's minds, turning the children against each other. Realizing only she can stop him, Ruby orders her friends to flee while she stays behind to face Clancy alone. Ruby forms her own mental army, but Clancy counters by making the children turn their weapons on themselves, forcing them to shoot one another. He then tries to use his new memory erasing ability to make Ruby forget her friends and join him. Thinking fast, Ruby uses her powers to control the pilot of a helicopter, causing it to crash and explode. Ruby barely escapes the fiery wreckage with the help of Charles, but Charles is badly burned in the blast. With no other choice, Ruby presses the panic button Dr. Kate once gave her. summoning the Children's League for rescue. The next morning, League operatives arrive. Charles is rushed to the hospital, and Zoo is placed with a kind foster family. But Liam is arrested by the League for deserting them years ago. They see him as a security risk who knows too much. Desperate to save him, Ruby bargains with Kate. She'll join the League and fight against the government if they release Liam. Kate hesitates, knowing Liam will never leave without Ruby. When Ruby meets Liam one last time, he tells her he wants to stay with her, to start a new life together. But Ruby knows what she must do. With tears in her eyes, she uses her power to erase every memory Liam has of her. Their first meeting, their talks, their dances, everything. When Liam wakes up, he no longer remembers her. Confused but free, he leaves with the League. Ruby watches him go, heartbroken and alone. In the end, she joins the League, training to become one of their soldiers, determined to use her powers for good. But the story isn't over. In the final moments, it's revealed that Clancy is still alive. The battle between Ruby and Clancy, between freedom and control, is far from finished. And that's a wrap on today's recap. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a plot twist. Got a movie you want recapped? Drop it in the comments below. This is DX Recaps. See you in the next one.